Hi everyone, Saki here and welcome back to my channel. So this is the first video that I'm doing back. All of the other ones except for like the baby videos that I've been updating you guys on Wednesdays have been pre-recorded, and yeah, it feels good but weird to be back. I have to just like quickly film these videos when the baby is sleeping, which funny enough, in like my first baby update video I was saying how he sleeps really great and we've been having no trouble, and quickly after that he did start having trouble sleeping. But anyways, if you do want to follow me on baby updates, please check out my baby journey playlist and also follow me on Instagram because I am updating you guys on that. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about the bags I've sold recently in my collection and why I've sold them. I also wanted to give you an update on the Fashionphile unboxing that I did not too long ago. So let's just talk about that Fashionphile unboxing first. So I ended up not keeping that bag. I really thought long and hard about it, and although I did really love the style of the bag, I just felt like the color wasn't exactly for me. It was a little bit more hot pink than what I'm used to, and I mentioned that in that video. However, I thought maybe I could make it work for the summer, but then I ended up thinking like I'm probably not going to want to wear it during the winter months when I do want to wear more like light pastel colors, and I just didn't feel like I wanted to have a bag where I can only wear maybe one season. So that is why I ended up selling it back ultimately. Other than that though, I love the style of the bag. I'm still on the hunt and keeping an eye out for the Valentino Roman Rockstud bag. I just think it's really pretty and it's a great alternative to the Chanel 19 bag like I was saying, but it's at a way better price point. And I found out this feature of the bag that I didn't actually even talk about in the video because I had found out about it afterwards, and that is the like little top handle part is detachable. So if you want to wear it crossbody and you don't like the way that top handle looks, you can easily remove it. It's just cool to me when a bag has like multiple functions like that. So yeah, I am still on the lookout for one. I still do think that it's a great bag. I loved the size of it. I love how much stuff that you can fit in it. The one that I had was the small size. So yeah, I will be keeping that bag on my wish list in the future, but just that one in that color wasn't for me. Alright, so the next bag that I'm going to be talking about is a bag that so many people have asked me about because they've noticed that it's not in my collection anymore, and that is the Chanel Rectangular Mini. So I actually sold this one maybe a couple of months ago. It's been a while now, and I didn't post about it on my YouTube. I just sold it through my Instagram. And the reason why I sold this bag is because you guys know that I recently got the Chanel Square Mini. I guess it wasn't recent, it was last year now. And I really didn't feel like I needed both the Rectangular Mini and the Square Mini in my collection at this time. I do really love the way the Rectangular Mini looks. I love how it's, you know, looks like a classic flap, but at the same time it is a crossbody bag and it's a little bit more versatile than a, you know, classic flap. But I just didn't feel like I needed both in my collection for where I'm at right now. If I had endless money, I would never sell any of my bags, but I just felt like having the two in my collection were just a little bit redundant, and I just love the Square Mini that I have more. Mainly because of the color, and also I did fall in love with the shape. I also do think that the Square Mini strap length is a little bit better suited for me because I am pretty short. I'm 5'3", and the Rectangular Mini one was just a little bit too long, especially when I wore it like crossbody and on the shoulder. But yeah, so there was that, and then there was also the fact that I didn't like love the color my Rectangular Mini was in. It was in a very, very pale pink, and it was almost like a blush pink. And you guys know that I love my like brighter baby pinks, so I just felt like with all of those things in mind, that one was the one to go if I had to choose between the rectangular and the small, or I'm sorry, the rectangular and the square. I also briefly wanted to touch on like why I sell my bags to begin with. Like I said, I don't have endless money, and when I want to buy a new bag, I tend to like to sell my older ones, especially the ones that I'm not using anymore. And just right now, especially with all of the baby stuff coming in and just how much stuff we have in general in our house, I just felt like I don't like to feel super cluttered and, you know, have my space be super cluttered. And I don't know, I have so many bags right now that I don't really need, you know, all of them. But rotating my bags in and out truly makes me happy, and if I'm not getting use out of a bag, I would rather, you know, sell it on to somebody who will use it rather than it just, you know, being on my shelf and staying there without me using it. So that is kind of, you know, why I rotate and sell my bags to begin with. It's not to make a profit. It's not to, you know, sell as investments or anything. It's literally because I like to, you know, make some money to, you know, buy new bags if I need it. And I just don't feel like I need, you know, so many bags in my collection. Anyways, so yeah, that is why I sold my rectangular mini. I do think that if, you know, I find the right color, or if I like do, I don't know, get more money in the future, I might add the rectangular mini back in my collection because I did truly like it. But for now, I'm so content with the ones that I have, and my mom still has a rectangular mini, so if I did ever feel the need to use one, I could just borrow hers. But yeah, so that is why I sold my rectangular mini. The next bag that I sold that I didn't tell you guys about is my Bulgari Serpenti bag. Yeah, I finally sold that one. I mentioned it in my handbag collection video in the beginning of the year, how I never ever used that bag. I bought it as a wedding gift to myself in 2020 in Thailand after Noah and I got married, and I just never used it. It was something about the color of the bag. It was more on the lilac pink side, and also the structure of the bag really annoyed me, how it had like the 3 compartments, and the compartments really restricted the amount of items that you can hold in there. And yeah, I just never felt like the bag was useful to me, so I decided to sell it. I actually had somebody on Instagram message me and ask about that bag because they were looking for the exact same one or similar one, and I thought it was the perfect opportunity to pass it on to someone who really wanted it. And yeah, so that is what happened. I actually put it off like selling it for a while because I wanted to keep it for like the sentimental value, how I like, you know, bought it for myself for the wedding. But honestly, at the end of the day, if I wasn't using it, I really don't see a point in keeping something for sentimental value if you're not actually getting any use and happiness out of it. And plus, I have so many other things to remember the wedding and the trip by that I really didn't need that one to really signify like all of the great memories I have with our wedding anyway. So yeah, I finally got rid of that one. I'm actually really glad that it's out of my collection now because it was just kind of like weighing my collection down, I feel like. I mean, like I said, I just have so many bags and I wasn't using that one. So yeah, I'm really glad that it went to someone who really wanted it. I do this quite often where if there's a bag in my collection that somebody's looking for that I'm not using at the time and I've been, you know, thinking about letting it go, I tend to sell it to whoever's asking, like on Instagram and stuff. Not that I do this every time. So if you do message me about a bag and I say no, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's probably something that I'm going to keep in my collection. But I much rather my bags, you know, go to someone who will use it and love it rather than it just being in my collection. So you never know. All right, and then the last bag that I wanted to talk about is my Coco Handle, which I already talked about in my vlog sale, but I did want to mention it in this video because I did recently sell that bag, and that is the Coco Handle in the small size in the python. So yeah, I had bought that bag a couple of years ago because I just was so in love with the color of it. I thought it was so unique how it was in python, and I also really liked the small size as well. However, I ended up never ever using that bag. I maybe used it once because the python leather was just too scary to me. It was so fragile in my opinion, and I'm just not the type of person who I don't like to baby my bags. Even the lambskin bags that I have, I don't really baby them that much. And yeah, with the python one, I just felt like I just had to be so careful with it. I also live in a really dry climate. Here in Colorado, the air is so dry, so I was constantly worrying about the scales lifting and, you know, drying out. So that made me worried about it too. And then also, I don't know, there's just something about carrying exotic leathers here that I'm not comfortable with it. I was really confident at the time when I bought it, but then the more and more I thought about it, and every time I went to go grab it to use it, I don't know, I just felt uncomfortable using an exotic leather, and I really didn't want that to get to me. But at the end of the day, it really did. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about me admitting this, but yeah, that's just how I felt. So I never ended up using it. I do want to say though that I did love the size of that bag. So if I had the opportunity, if I could, you know, buy it secondhand at a decent price point, I would love to add a larger Coco Handle back in my collection. Like I said, that was called the small size, but compared to the mini, it was very large. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of maybe like a classic flap jumbo in its size, but it was also nicer because it had like a top handle. It was easy to carry. Sometimes the jumbo could be a little bit too heavy. So yeah, I do think that the size of that was really great, and I do wish I could add it back into my collection one day. I just know that I was never ever going to feel comfortable with that python bag, so that is why I ended up giving it away, or not giving it away, selling it. I don't regret buying that bag. I'm actually glad that I got to play around with it and have it in my collection, because it did make me happy at a time, but it just grew to the point where it no longer made me happy, and that is why I felt like I had to let it go. So yeah, that was the couple of bags that I've sold recently. I like to do these videos to kind of reflect on why certain bags worked out for me, why it didn't work out, and hopefully this helps you guys if you are thinking about any of these bags in the future. If you have any questions about any of the bags that I've sold, or want me to go in more detail about something, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. I would be happy to answer any of your questions. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you did, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make luxury videos every single week. And yeah, that was it for my first Sunday video back since the baby. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time. Bye!